And when we're thinking about a client's physiology, there's a really important message. There's something that our clients really need to understand from the get-go. And that is that struggling to shift unwanted weight is not about willpower. Okay. So it's really more about bringing your physiology back in balance. Because when your physiology, when your blood sugar levels, your hormones are balanced, then there is space for weight loss. Okay, so it's definitely not that they lack willpower. It's not that they're lazy. It's not that they don't have enough self-discipline. We just need to help them to come back in balance. And often this is quite a relief for clients to hear, because they often feel a lot of shame and almost feel disappointed in themselves that they don't have that willpower that they think they need to have. And this is definitely not the case. Okay, so how can we support our clients to get their physiology back in balance? Okay, so most of you might be familiar with this curve. And for those of you who are new to the course, you will delve into a lot of detail around this topic. But one of the ways, and I'm not going to stay too long with the specific teaching around this, but one of the easiest way to get our physiology back in balance is through blood sugar balance. Okay, so if it's not balanced, you'll recognize this very familiar curve, right? Where your blood sugar will get spiked and you will drop again. You will crave exactly the things that are going to give you the spike again, and then it's very difficult to get out of this vicious cycle. So if you start out the day with a croissant or a coffee or a muffin or cereal or rusks, it is going to spike your blood sugar levels, which means that it's going to cause quite a bit of inflammation in the arteries, which is linked to most chronic disease. But that excess sugar will also be stored as fat, unfortunately. And what goes up must go down. So after you've experienced that spike, you will also experience a drop where you could feel tired, moody. You can have some, can't concentrate as well. And you will crave, like I said, exactly the things that are going to give you that spike again. So when you're down there, your body almost goes into a primal panic. It needs to restore balance. So it's really, really difficult to rely on willpower when you're down there. Okay, so if we balance out this curve for our client, it's going to make life so much easier for them. So if you started out the day with that croissant or a rusk, it's going to drop you at around, 9, 10-ish if you had breakfast at 8. And then you are going to feel like having that chocolate bar, or you're going to feel like you need coffee to get you going throughout the day for the rest of the day. And this is because your body needs to restore balance. Okay. And then it's like I said, very difficult to get out of this vicious loop. So one recommendation that I often make to clients is to start out the day with a protein-rich breakfast, or at least just adding some form of protein in the morning. Because this could really make the world's difference to keep you more stable and to help you to start shifting that unwanted weight. So I'm just going to give you some pointers around blood sugar balance, because in the course you are going to go into a lot more detail around this topic. But a really good place to start to make sure that you are balancing your blood sugar is the balanced plate. So for those of you who know it, you can just relax for a moment. You know all about this, but for those of you who don't, the balanced plate is basically a quarter of your plate carbohydrates, a quarter of your plate protein, and half of your plate veggies, right? And if we eat in this way, we know that our blood sugar levels will be balanced. If you of course, there are some carbs that are going to spike you more than others, but that's when we're going into more detail around this. But yeah, I think the balanced place is really a good place to start. And also making sure that you always add protein to whatever you're eating, as this helps to stabilize blood sugar. So if you're having a piece of toast, of course, it's going to spike you quite a bit. But if you add an egg to that piece of toast, instead of spiking you in that way, it's just going to have a bit more of an even curve, right? And that is just basically because protein is more complex to digest, so it won't impact you in the same way. So even if you're having cake, right, or if you really feel like having chocolate, then just add some protein, maybe just a few nuts. And that could help to balance your blood sugar levels so you don't experience that dip a bit later in the day. Okay. So I do find that protein plays a really important role in a weight loss journey. So because of blood sugar, yes, but also we know that protein is extremely satisfying, okay, which means that it will help you to feel fuller compared to when you're having carbs or fats. And secondly, we know that digesting protein utilizes more energy than other foods, right? Which is really helpful when we're trying to lose weight. So that's called the thermic effect. So it takes more energy to break down a piece of chicken breast than it does to break down a piece of toast, right? So that energy means that you're going to use less of what you're eating in the body, so less will be stored in the body in that way. Okay. And then thirdly, why I really am a fan of protein is because it helps to maintain muscle mass. Okay. And the more you have of that, the more likely it is that your weight point will be able to move down and stay there. Because the moment we lose muscle, our metabolism also slows down, and the less you can actually eat in order to just maintain your weight. So obviously we don't want that. And it's really quite fulfilling, and it's really quite nice to see how the moment your clients' blood sugar levels are balanced, they really start to feel better. And they've got more energy, which gives them access to being able to make more changes if needed, right? And often what I also see is when we just balance blood sugar, a lot of other areas just kind of fall into place. Obviously not always, but, often most hormones will also settle down. And that can really help you or the client to start tuning into their body's satiety and hunger signals, because otherwise it's so difficult to know. My body's telling me to have chocolate all the time. And that makes sense if the blood sugar levels are imbalanced.